So we are here today for a video discussion on river surfing associations. We were just interrupted due to some technical difficulties. We're having our guest today join us in a moment, but just to introduce you, my name is Jacob Kelly. I'm from Surf Anywhere, also a board member of the Alberta River Surfing Association. The goal of today's discussion is just to pull out the current state of affairs with river surfing associations or clubs, the clubs that are happening around the world in the local river surfing communities. We're joined today by Joseph Bauer, who is the wave engineer that built the Canova wave in Bratislava, Slovakia. He's also an administrator on the Facebook page River Surfing Bratislava, Slovakia, with over 1,500 members. Great membership from there. Also joined with Max Newblock from New Art Surf Stuff, and president and founder of the River Mates in Austria. Also joined with us today is Neil Eggsgaard, president of the Alberta River Surfing Association and founder of the Surf Anywhere project. Looks like Neil just joined us in here. Hi, Neil.
Hey, how you doing? The other guys are in a little chat at the moment.
Yeah, do you want to start us off with an introduction and tell us a little bit more about the Alberta River Surfing Association?
Sure. The Alberta River Surfing Association has been around since around 2005, when river surfing really started taking off in Alberta. We're blessed with mountains and lots of snow, which means we get lots of water. And more importantly, we have a dam-controlled river that shuts off pretty much every single night through, 9 months of the year, except for runoff. So for the last few years, since about 2007, we've been working and building in there and doing little tests and trying different waves. And this year, we are going to be activating our first major wave. So it should be around 20 feet wide, 3 feet high, and we're expecting to have it going in August.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Alberta River Surfing Association, about how it's registered, its members base, anything you can tell us about kind of current state of affairs there?
Yeah, right now the Alberta River Surfing Association is a society, so it's registered, it's a legally registered organization, and we did that for a couple of reasons. One was so that we could fundraise in order to get charitable donations in Canada, and to take advantage of grants. You need addition, and then you don't get the taxes on it as well. We also did it for liability purposes, so when you're building something, you're not personally liable. In Alberta, we took care of that because the government takes responsibility for any of the river projects once they're complete. The membership fluctuates between, I would say, around 60 or so when the waves are all working, and right now it's probably around 30 or so at the moment.
And can you give us a little state of, like, as far as in your 30 members and that fluctuating in and out, tell me more about kind of your meetings. How do you guys meet socially, or just surf together, or kind of paint us a picture of the Alberta River Surfing Association and how you guys hang out?
Most of the time is spent is on the wave, ideally. We do some hanging out outside of it, but it's all of it is not surprisingly surf related. We also get together when we're throwing events, when we're doing our fundraisers or river surfing events down by the river. We have a board of directors, which consists of about five positions. So you got a treasurer, president, secretary, and then a few other board members. That sort of structure just allows. One of the big things it allows you to do is when you're raising a lot of funds, you need to have a way of making sure that those funds are being used properly, and that having that structure gives you the accountability and the transparency that you need in order for people to trust you and for you to be confident that the money you're raising is going to go in the right direction. One of the other big things that we've done with the Alberta River Surfing Association is we wanted to avoid localism, which is one of the huge problems of surfing. The way we did that is when we got in the water, we were the first surfers there, first surfers in our region, so we just were really nice to everyone who came down to the water. in river surfing, you got to hang out right beside everyone. So if someone stands up for the first time, they get a big cheer. If they do a 360 for the first time, they get a big cheer. We would vocally support and cheer on progression and people working at getting better at surfing. And that's all we had to do. We didn't have to post any rules, didn't have to push anybody. All we had to do was be nice and friendly, and it transferred throughout the entire river.
That's awesome. Thanks. So we've got our other guests joining us today. So Max, can you take over here now? Just give us an introduction and kind of current state of affairs of the river surfing community where you're from.
Of course. My name is Max. I'm the founder and president of the Rivermate Surf Club, and I'm also the owner of New Art Surf Stuff, a river surf shop in the mountains of Austria.
Cool. Can you tell us a little bit more about your club now, specifically the Rivermates? Just kind of more like how you guys get together and everything there.
The club was founded in December 2012 because we have a river wave which is running quite often, especially in spring and early summer. But the problem was that the wave is not running all the year and it's not running regularly. So we're always just meeting at the wave and then talking to each other and saying, yeah, well, this would be a cool project, this would be a cool project, there we could build a wave, there we could build a wave. And in the beginning of this year we said, well, it's really, really difficult to build a wave which is running all the time. So first we have to do is we have to focus on to build a scene which is really alive, yeah. So at the moment we want to get people to get people into our club, get them to surfing, take them to waves which are a little bit far away, like the Alm Canal, which is 1 hour by car, and show them how surfing is, and also make workshops about river surfing. What is river surfing? Why is it possible? Because which principles? Where is it possible? How does a standing wave work? Which material do you need? What's the difference between river surfing and surfing in the oceans? And beside all that workshops, we're still focusing on building a standing wave somewhere in our surrounding area.
That's awesome. Thanks, Max. So that's very cool that one of the key points of your river surfing club is to actually build a wave. Can you just give us a little bit more on that, behind that?
Well, we have been thinking of several places where we could build a wave. We talked about it with some engineers, but then we recognized that building a wave in a big river, which can reach up to 1,700 cubic meters per second, is really, really difficult and also really expensive. So now we have been searching in our area for canals which are already built, because it's much easier to build waves in an already built channel, because you don't need to dig anything out. You just, to say it easy, you just have to put the wave in there. That's all you have to do. And it's cheap, and it's really easy to make. Well, it's not that easy, but it's much easier than in a big river.
Yeah. Feels like in that I can see some smiles over there.
Yeah.
So Joseph, we lost your intro on the first broadcast. That was my fault for some reason. But so speaking of wave building, you're the wave engineer behind the Canova wave in Bratislava, Slovakia. And one of the things that Max talked about, I'm interested. He called it a scene, a river surfing scene over there. What's the scene like in the Canova wave?
Hello, everybody. Nice talking here. Thanks, Kelly. I didn't get what Niall was saying because I joined in later. But I caught the last words, and I think I knew what he was talking about. And and describing how the scene over there where you build it is starting to evolve into to become a scene. And that's what happened in Slovakia also. 2012, in April 2012, we surfed the first time there, which was like the best day in my life when we switched on the first time the wave, and suddenly turbulences, just turbulences for minutes, 10 minutes, only turbulences, and from 1 second to the other, the white water was flushed out and the green perfect wave was standing there. It was awesome. And yeah, this is why I love building waves, and I would love to do this like every day.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's over now, and we have a surfing wave in Bratislava, which is still working. Knock on wood on this, because we were not certain if the construction will last permanently, and the deterioration of the construction will be as we expected, and not worse, because we built cheap. As Max said, it has to be cheap. It has to be, the first time it has to be cheap, because you're not sure of if it's working at all, and must build it though in a way that you can always improve it. And we build a solid
Just pause
basement.
it. Okay, we're back.
Right, we're back.
Yeah, just lost you for a moment there.
We built a solid basement, as you guys did in Canada, with the immense, massive stone movements and the channel you dug there. This is something forever. This will be there in 100 years if nobody will put it away. And from this point, we can really start doing more and more. And we're in Kunovo at the very exact spot, a little bit further, because we have already a kicker, and we're trying to get this thing even better than it is now, or much better than it is now, because it is good but not perfect right now. Nevertheless, the scene is, I'm talking too much technical already. I getting away from that and going back to the scene. The localism is an issue, that's for sure. You must know that Bratislava is the capital of the Slovak Republic, and Vienna, which is 70 kilometers away, it's the capital from Austria with 2 million people. So there is two capitals next to each other within 1 hour drive. It's 3 million people living in this area, very close, and I think this is very special because there is so many people and so many potential surfers, lots of windsurfers, lots of kiters, and I see every time I go there I see somebody starting. And any surf wave has a limited amount of time or surf potential, and localism is not starting yet, but I can imagine it could start if it wasn't a paying infrastructure. If it's an old infrastructure, it's not free, and this helps us prevent localism in a way. So everybody is there paying his fee, going to surf. It can be regulated, or it must be regulated, that not 50 people are there. So this is what the problems we have to solve, because there are already a lot of people on high times, on weekends there are 20 people waiting, and that creates not always the best. There are always 1 or 2 guys who are pissed because they have to wait. But most of them are happy and they are friendly, but some guys show up, they're pissed because they have to wait. Sometimes I'm one of these guys because I drive 1 hour and I have to wait all the time. I'm just kidding. But
Okay.
that surfers are like, it's an individual sport, and the guys are focused on their surfing time and not so much on the other surfing time as on their own surfing time. I have to admit that.
Yeah.
So I give back the word to some other one.
Okay. So I guess one of the things that we're talking about here is now rules. When you establish a river surfing association or a club in your local community, do you guys believe that it's important to have rules, or a set of rules, or kind of surf etiquette, or anything in the river? I'd be interested to hear from Max after hearing Neil's comment of leading by example. Max, do you guys have anything set up over there?
No, we don't have any rules yet. because as it's a wave in a big natural river. Nobody of us, it was built, yeah, but nobody of us surfers built the wave so that we can surf, yeah. So it's not possible for one of us to say, well, it's my wave or it's our wave, and we are making the rules, yeah. It's just as I've been the only local for years, and I said, well, you can come to my town, it's no problem, you can surf here. I'm happy if I don't have to go alone surfing, but behave in a normal way, yeah. If you're behaving like an a-hole, you're not really welcome here, yeah, and you can go home. But actually, it has never come that far that I had really had to tell somebody that he should shut up and fuck off, yeah, because everyone knew and knows and will know how to behave in that situation. We already had 20 or 25 people staying at the wave, but it was not a big problem.
Mm-hmm. So, Neil, as far as like having a good positive attitude in the river, have you ever had to deal with any a-holes?
In the river, possibly, but I think a positive attitude for the most part gets rid of it. The problem you run into is about the wave, how many waves you have, or how much wave there is per surfer. Like Joseph nailed it. It's if you get overcrowding and you go to the wave and you always have to wait an hour to surf, then you're going to start getting tensions, and that's really I think it's pretty much unavoidable. I think surf associations and having a positive attitude can help with that. The only way to really solve it is to make more waves. You have to. Munich, I know Munich has from what I understand there, they have certain time slots where certain groups are able to surf, but they also have something like 1,500 surfers on their wave.
No, there are no time slots.
They're not?
No. This is also not possible. It's a public place there, and of course there are groups, and there is the crowd pressure and the best surfers. Munich is the best example of an overcrowded place, which is working most of the time. It's very friendly there, but I'm not there too many times, but I know from other people there is a lot of stress there, and people are stressed out if they have to wait, and the level of surfing is so high, and if you're a beginner there and you don't act properly, that annoys people. Mm-hmm. Not acting, behaving is the basic thing. Being nice to other people, that's the basic, but also you have to act fast. You have to, the wave is not supposed to be unridden, as I say. Every time somebody has to be on it. And if the guy is flushed out, the next guy is on it, and there is no hesitation and no time loss, then it's okay for everybody. And when you surf hard. You not surf and stand and look around making pictures of yourself, but you surf as the maximum as you can, and you will be falling out in 15 seconds or 10 seconds. And then the next guy is in. And this way you have 15 seconds of change on the wave, and that's 4 people a minute, and that's a lot of people in an hour. That's 240 rides an hour. So then it's okay. But as soon as they're a beginner who don't know how to act, of course they need their time. You cannot stress them out, because they will be afraid and they will lose the interest and they will not, will not like it. And so you must separate the good ones from the bad ones. And when the beginners come, not bad ones, but the beginners, if they come and they're not so advanced, they should have their time slot, and the experts should have their time slot. And if you can make it that way, organize it that way, it'll work out. So, but you have to do that in a certain way at some time, at some stage of the scene. If the scene is big, as in Munich is, and it will become that way in Bratislava also, especially if we improve the wave next year. I think it will start like in Munich. I hope.
So I think one thing that's kind of coming up is that if there's a river surfing association or not, it's still up to the more experienced surfers to kind of bring the beginners in and more or less teach them how to, not just how to surf, but how to use that river, how to use the wave and the etiquette that's there.
Yes, yes.
Max, I'm going to actually switch gears a little bit, just thinking about beginners. Max, I'm interested, you have River Mates and a river surfing shop, New Art. I'm interested why you separated the two, why you have both a shop and a club. Can you speak to that a bit?
There are two main reasons. The first reason is if we really want to build a wave, it's much easier to get public funds if you have an association than if you have a commercial shop. Yeah, you can much easier get money from the from your town or from your state if you're an association, because an association is non-profit. Yeah, it's possible to have a profit association, but it's not common. The most common way is to have a non-profit association, so you get money much easier because the things you're doing are good for all the people. Yeah? They are not only good for your company and for your shop, they are good for everyone. And the second reason is it also has to do with commercial and with non-profit. If I, as the owner of a surf shop, take action in, for example, a project with building a wave, yeah, and I need to do something unpopular, but which is in the end good for building the wave, yeah, then there may be people which say, well, you're just doing this because it's good for your shop, and but it's not good for the community, yeah. And I really want to avoid these situations where some people might think, well, he's just doing it because it's good for his shop, but actually it's not good for the community. Yeah.
Cool. Neil, what's your experience with that?
As far as what?
Well, with your wave building project and starting the Surf Anywhere project separate from the Alberta River Surfing Association.
The Alberta River Surfing Association is what we use for funds, and it's the same in Canada. In order to get funding and in order to handle the money that's the significant amount of money that's required to do river projects, you need to have some legal entity to handle that, and that's what the River Surfing Association does. It's the place where the funds go, allows us to get grants and donations, and have it all be legal, which is really important. As far as the business, I'm not involved on the business side of it, but I can definitely. What I like about the River Surfing Association is that it gives a voice for everyone, and that's really important. It's a very clear voice, so that people have a place to state their opinions. We've had an association since 2005, so almost 10 years, and there have been conflicts of various types, either personalities or different user groups, and having a way to discuss it and have everyone discuss it is definitely made it easier to overcome that.
Mm-hmm. So having open communication, this is an obvious need in a local river surfing community. I guess I want to just open the floor now and talk more about just needs of local surfing communities. Whether you guys have a river surfing association, or if there's nothing really in place in Slovakia, like for you, Joseph, but is there still things that our surfers need? Is it being addressed by a club, or is there, like, let's just open the floor, in a perfect world, is there more that we could be doing?
Yeah. An interesting question. Is there anything the river surfers need? Of course, I guess, but I cannot determine that, really. What we need is improvement, and that's what we have. You see that every day people are doing it, they're loving it, and these other people are seeing, and they see that other people do something they love, and that's growing, keeps growing, and I'm sure we get more and more power in this region. This is um, this whole area is an area of not conflict but different interests. There are kayakers, there are rafters, there are other sports activities, and river surfing is only one part of this. And we have to fight for money, of course, to get the construction maintained, to progress the design. But this is just there is money because people pay for it, but it comes into a big pot, a hotel complex, and it disappears in an area we don't know. So we need structures. We need to separate the wave from the other area, and to really be able to make a business plan to see, okay, this wave is working on its own. It can stay on its own feet. The people who use it pay for it, and it doesn't need anything else. So, and I think this could work out. I'm not sure about it, but I think that's the way it should go. This is Bratislava. This is one specific spot which does not apply anywhere else in the world that easy. So this is nothing of really interest for the public. I see the design is progressing, and we will have more waves in rivers, just as we have skate parks now in our communities. But back when I was a kid, we didn't have any skate parks. The first really good skate parks I was skating was in Vancouver, and this was amazing to me. I came back, designed a skate park in Austria. Now we have a good skate park in Graz. And there are, since then, 10 years later, we have in every city we have a nice skate park. Same thing with snowboard parks. We never had a snowboard park. Now there are millions of euros going into a snowboard park design for 1 year. And the same thing will happen with river surfing because it's the same kind of sport. And now we don't have nothing, but in 10 years maybe we have a lot of waves. Every city which is near a river that possibly could work has its wave. And I discovered that river surfing waves work, or in Austria you can see it in the Arm Canal with 5 cubic meters a second. You can build a more or less decent river surf wave, and you find spots like that hundreds and millions over the world. So, what was the question again? Sorry. It's late already. Oh, I should drink a beer.
Good call.
Wow.
How about from you, Max? Is there any big needs of the river surfers in the river mates in Austria?
I would not call it needs, so, or maybe not specific needs. So they don't come to me as the president and say, well, we need this, and we need this, and we need that. Yeah, I experienced that they more need sort of a lifestyle. Yeah, they really love surfing, but nothing is happening over here with surfing. Yeah, if you're living in somewhere at the coastline, yeah, in California, for example, you have surfing events every day or every weekend. We don't have it over here this often. So they really want to experience things which are happening, which have to do with surfing. Yeah? It doesn't have to be surfing. It can be screening a movie, doing a workshop, doing a surf trip to another river wave, or doing just to go for paddle training, yeah, or do a small paddle contest. Yeah, everyone pays €2. You have 10 people, then you're rushing out to somewhere in the lake, rushing back, and the best one will get the 10 or 20 beers from the money you put in. Yeah, that's what they want to experience. And now at the moment, as we don't have a wave yet, they don't have specific needs. Yeah? If there may be a wave, there may be also needs from different groups. I can imagine. For example, from the beginners. Yeah? then maybe the beginners would come to me and say, well, every time we go to the wave, there are a lot of people who are just telling to us, well, you're just beginners, you're not allowed to surf now because we are the good ones and we want to surf now. We don't want you to stay 3 or 4 minutes at the wave just for trying and then falling off after 1 second. Yeah, that may be one need of the beginners. On the other side, from the good ones, there may be the need, well, every time when we are surfing, the beginners are coming and just taking 4 minutes to get into the wave. That's not possible. We don't have a lot of time, and if we are there at the wave, we want to surf. Those specific needs may come if there's a wave built. But as long as there's not the wave, I don't think that those specific needs will come in the river surf community.
Cool. Right on. Neil, do you have anything on kind of needs of the in our area, Alberta River Surfing Association?
In our area, we need waves. What Joseph was saying sounds like exactly what I say about what is going to happen with waves and what is possible with almost the exact same words. It's nice to hear about building waves everywhere and about how easy it is, about how little you need, how little water you need in order to build waves. For us, we need just a variety of waves to begin with, so you can start surfing. Then access to gear is always really challenging. We're just starting with, one business is starting here, the Rocky Mountain River Surfing, that's starting to provide access to gear, but that's a big issue. You have stuff wearing out, and your boards are getting smashed because your higher performance boards are always really fragile. And it seems for us that you've got these beautiful fast boards, but underneath our water is a whole bunch of gigantic shark teeth rock that if your board goes down deep, it punishes it and it just destroys it. So those are the two biggest ones for us right now are more waves and then better access to better gear.
Well,
One story on that. Funny story on that is when the guys show up in Kunovo with their fancy boards from the ocean, and it's like a short board. It's only 6'4", cannot surf with it. No,
Yeah.
you better not surf with it.
Don't do
And
it.
he still surfs it. An hour later, the nose is cracked. I've seen that like 10 times. The guys, well, I feel sorry for them because yeah, you got some gotta learn it the hard way. But
You guys just put a little repair station right beside the wave. €5 will fix your board.
no, I discovered that the cheap and sturdy Chinese surfboards are the best for beginners. And soft boards, which you cannot break this. I had my Chinese surfboard wrapped around the pillow of a bridge for 10 minutes. It was banded around this pillow, and it didn't break at all. It was nothing. so gear is very important, but for beginners, it's the cheap plastic stuff that's fair enough. And once you're better, you anyways buy yourself a good surfboard.
How do you guys
hopefully from a shaper?
How do you handle liability over there? Like if someone gets hurt, how did they handle that?
This is an issue. How does a skate park work? Same way for me. It's the responsibility of those who use it. When you enter this facility, you feel the power. People get afraid in the first place because you're so close to the streaming water. You're really standing on the dry with all your clothes on, 10 centimeters away from really fast water, which is loud and very angry. And people are afraid of this, and so they know when they enter this place, they put themselves into risk and into danger. And so far, we never had complaints. One guy, the thing is about the wave in Kunovo, you have to know there is a difference between waves that are completely out of a water body, like in Munich is more or less. But Munich is also, it's not a full water body, but we have a very thick half a meter of fast flowing water, and you're able to stand in the wave without board. You can step off your board, stand in the wave, and you manage to more or less hardly stand there. You can't stand there, and that's what is not possible in normal waves, because you fall down and you drop into the water. And so if this fast-flowing film is getting thicker, then you might not be able to stand there anymore, or you're for sure not able to stand there anymore. And so people are just, when you skate on a skate park, you skate, make a trick, you fall down, and you land on a hard piece of plywood, and you twist your ankle a little bit. This happened. And if you climb out of the water, you cut yourself on a rock, or you cut your fingers on it's pretty smooth, but not perfectly smooth. So people get a little bit hurt, but not seriously so far. And I hope nobody will ever get seriously hurt there. As legal claims is concerned, I don't know. It's the Slovak Republic. That's a big advantage. Yeah, it definitely is. If I'm an Austrian, if I get hurt there, I have to sue in a foreign country on a different court, different legal situation, and it's not as Austria is a quite old democracy with good justice system. Yeah, I'm not so sure about the Slovak Republic. It's good, but it's not perfect. It used to be communism in the past 50 years, so it's not. It's a very new democracy, and all this system is not so well established as it is in more developed democratic countries. So that takes a lot of risk of the owner of this. And in fact, excuse me, I'm wrong. The owner of this channel is the state of Slovakia. It's only rented by some other guy, and who is doing it. So if you get hurt, you have to sue the Slovak Republic. So the chances are pretty. Nevertheless, nobody should be hurt. So we are in charge in maintaining the safety of the wave. That's an important thing. I want to say, but still, if you get hurt, you're fucked. you can sue the state of Slovakia. Same applies to me.
We would not have a big chance to really sue the state of Slovakia, but I think, Neil, you really focus on a really important point, because the liability, you really have to think about it. Yeah? We always say that, well, at 1,000 rides, maybe one surfer gets hurt, yeah, and even not in a really bad way. Yeah, he maybe cut his finger a little bit, yeah, or his toe, but not in a bad way. But if something happens, the question of the liability needs to be clear, because otherwise you will not be able to build the wave. Yeah. In Austria, you really need to be the question needs to be solved, because otherwise no one will give you approval to build the wave.
Depends on there is a way. It depends on how
But
you.
the wave was built by the city of Salzburg.
Exactly. This is the thing. If you build in a river, you might not say it is a wave. I'm not going there to build a wave. The wave just happened. I'm rebuilding the bank of the river. This is, you name it in a different way. You're not calling it a surfing wave. You call it a ecological measure or a safety measure of the river, and you build something there out of stone, and nobody says this is a surfing wave, and now somebody has to be responsible for anybody who is surfing on it. So this is, if you go into public places, you cannot act the same way as on a private place. I have a private place. If I open a shop there, I'm responsible for the people who come in and hurt themselves. If it's a public river, I cannot build something there and and make somebody responsible for it. So I'd say You have to
right.
name the child a different way.
You're right in the point. If you're building something into the river because of ecological reasons, yeah, and well, wondering there's a wave, you will not be responsible if something happens. But if you're going to build a wave in a canal to surf there, then the question of liability needs to be solved.
How did they handle it in Almvella?
As far as I know, the Almwelle was built from the city of Salzburg. So yeah, if you get hurt, you need to sue the city of Salzburg, which is quite difficult.
No, I know about it.
Oh, yeah?
If you want me to answer the question, I could do this
please.
shortly. The project in Salzburg was made as a normal construction project. There have been plans made. The plans have been approved by the authorities, and these plans have been built by a professional construction company. And that way, this whole construction is legal. And there is some, they call it TÜV in Austria. It's a technical a union that controls technical devices, and they give a stamp and say this technical device is ready for use. They come, they check the device, say okay, this is safe for use, because there are plans from an engineer who signs them, who has insurance to be responsible for what, and education. He can be responsible for what he's doing, and this is enough for the government to make them feel safe. Because if I am a administrative person, I'm not going to believe some guy who shows up and say, hey, I can build a wave here. Can you please give me some money, or at least the right to do it? So you have to have professional institutions, and that's every country has this type of institutions. And that was the fact in Salzburg. They made a project, and since the city was interested in it, this project moved fast and successful, more or less. I'd say it was a waste of money, but it's good that it is here.
For us, it's a similar situation for liability. In order to build the wave and get permission to put anything in the river, you have to get approvals from lots of different government bodies. To do something, we could just move rocks around without any engineering design or any engineering drawings. We can put boulders wherever we want, which is interesting. But in order to bolt something to the river or build or put in the structures you need for a surf wave,
Exactly.
that has to get engineering approval.
Exactly. As soon as you induce forces into the ground, that's in our law. It says as soon as a stone is just a force itself. As soon as you concentrate forces, and you need technical knowledge to build that. For stone building, every child can do this. It's just a big, no offense. It was very perfect what you did, but a child can do it in a small scale as well. So where's the difference?
And then once you want to go into something better, then more technical, then you get the engineering approvals. That goes through the same type of process where you get a construction company, or well, not in our case, but it gets approved by the government, and at the end, they've said it's okay, and so they're responsible for what happens, unless there's some case of what's called gross negligence, where somebody makes an enormous error that results in somebody getting hurt.
Okay.
Well, this has been really interesting. We started with river surfing associations. Now we're talking about liability and wave building. This is great stuff. I think we have to draw it to a close. Actually, I'm gonna put the cap on it. It's obvious we're just scratching the surface on a lot of things, but it's been really great just to kind of surface these talks just on a public scale. So I really thank you guys, and maybe just open up the floor for one last thing, if there's anything you guys want to add or anything in closing remarks. Start with Neil. I know you got to take off pretty quick here, so.
I got to go right away, but I really like the conversation. I like getting everyone's viewpoints here. It's really enlightening and makes me pretty excited. Thanks a lot for your opinions. I think there should be more of this, and we should figure out how to move our whole sport forwards and upwards. Joseph, I'm going to be contacting you about that little new about what you're doing in Bratislava again, because we're hoping to do to build a real wave in October.
You're welcome.
Thank you, gentlemen. I gotta go. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Daniel.
Bye.
Bye.
Any closing remarks from you guys?
Bitte los, Max.
Okay. Yeah, so we have been doing this group chat because of the question if river surf associations are really needed or not. Well, I think they are needed, definitely. You can, if there are needs of river surfers, doesn't matter if the needs are just like to get a surf lifestyle, or if there needs a really concrete, like I told you, with the beginners and the good ones at the wave. Yeah, you can face these needs in a much better way with an association than with a commercial shop or a commercial company. Then to just some 2 or 3 more arguments from my side why I think associations are important. Because you can raise funds much easier, especially from public institutions, and if the association can run a wave, so it's much easier to find a solution for the question of liability. And if the association is running the wave, it's also easier to face the problem localism, yeah, and because then you have people which have authority to talk to the people at the wave and to tell them what they have to do and what they should do and what they should not do. Yeah, so those are, in my opinion, the most important reasons why river surf associations are really important to the sport. There may be some more, but I'm not thinking of them at the moment. So it was really good to talk to you, and I think we can bring our sport forward with those discussions quite a lot. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Max.
Bye.
Joseph, anything else?
My last words, I'd say river associations at all are not needed. They are essential for us to get recognition as the sport that it is. It is a sport just as any other sport, and we will never be recognized in a way if we do not organize ourselves and get structures in our sport. This is the same. We just need to look at the other sports. Snowboarding, there's snowboarders. I've been a professional snowboarder for many years, and the Snowboarding Association was built, collapsed, and was overtaken by the Ski Association. Now snowboarders are controlled by Ski Association. Surfing is the danger to be controlled by Kayak Association. I see it present, and I want to fight this because I don't want that. Because they are much bigger, and it will become a very reasonable sport. There are European championships, and I don't want to be controlled by another sport. So we have to have organizations and associations in order to have a standing, and we need a democratic system so that an association is legalized by the public somehow. I cannot go and say I am the River Surfing Association, because that's not the democracy. We have to have many clubs, and these clubs come together to one big association, and this association does something for the sports. But this has to be organized in a national way. So Austria, for example, in Germany, every country has to do. Every local club has to join a bigger association. such as there is already as a surfing association in Austria, which has a river surfing department. I don't know if you heard of it, Kyle, but there are similar things in Germany as well. And these organizations must be planned somehow, I think, in order to really make the sport as important as it can be, and if important in a way that we can build more waves finally. All right, that's about it. That's my opinion.
Well, that's great, Joseph. Thank you so much.
If I'm allowed to
Yeah, Max.
comment on or give some input on what Joseph just said, is that there is already a surfing association in Austria which has a river surf department.
It's tiny. It's not. It's just a name on the website, more or less. It's nothing.
Yeah, more or less.
Nothing there.
But do you think that river surf clubs and associations should be included in surfing associations, which mean ocean surfing?
Yeah, definitely. It's the same industry that provides the wetsuits, the wax, the leashes, the pads. It's the same industry. So yes, I think they should at least work together closely, and in terms of judging systems and all this type. But and we could learn a lot from them. That's what I think, because they are very professional. But I don't know if we should be part of it. Or be a complete separate organization.
No, it's just to get the stone rolling.
Yeah. But we wanted to finalize the conversation. Maybe we do this another time.
Well, I'm a student. I have time.
But now we are at the topic which we wanted to talk about from the beginning. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, I think when you're talking about how it's much, the idea of the skiers taking over the snowboarders, how it's a much larger organization. Do you guys think that the ocean surfing associations would just kind of swallow the river surfing? Or do we need our own voice, our own identity?
Yes, in snowboarding it was because there is a big industry, and it was the ski industry who started producing snowboards and tried to get into the market, and they had the sponsors and they had the contract to the FIS, and as soon as the industry is combined with already an association, then they easily get the sport, more or less. If all the surfing companies would be owned by a kayaker, then we would be a kayaking sport so fast we cannot count to three, I think. I don't know, but so it's important. The industry, there is surfing industry. It's beginning in Canada. I see people building boards. Max is providing a shop. There are shops already, and there is a small river surfing industry growing, and it's still all tiny. So there is not the it's not so urgent that or that there is no danger that we are overtaken by some kayak federation, because there is no surfing federation right now.
Oh.
So these are just future scenarios I was talking about. Maybe in 10 or 15 years we will be laughing when you are recording this. We will be watching this in 20 years, and we will thinking about what the fuck was we talking about.
Yeah, we will get overtaken by the dark side.
No, but we have to, and that's why I support you in your effort here. I think it's good if there are people out there like you who push it and who want to talk about it, and I think you will be making a good way on your continent. And if you have influence, and you do have influence also here from your project and the Surf Anywhere project, which was made very professional and encouraged everybody to also raise funds and to provide to get this thing going. At least for me, it was inspiring. And so I think if more people like you and all over the world exist, and we're going the right way. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure. Yeah.
That's almost a good point to leave it at. I think a hopeful point. That
Okay.
just
Then
yeah, if we're all just moving forward and keep doing what we love and pushing this sport that we love so much, and it's just doing little things and just keep pushing it forward, then whatever comes out of it is just comes out of our love, right?
all right. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Stop the broadcast.
Well, yeah, I just want to give you guys a big thank you, and like Max said, when we're working out our technological issues, we've got to start somewhere, start small. So I'm just really happy for that we're doing something, and maybe this is the start of many more conversations. So until next time, then I guess.
We'll see you at the forum, don't we? In
the
August.
River Forum in.
You booked your flight already or not?
The flights are booked. Yes, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How long are you staying in Europe?
I'll be there until Monday, the next Monday, the 11th. So I'll get to see the surf and style.
You go to the surf and style, all right.
Yeah.
You better go to the Canoe Austrian River Surf Camp.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, then we'll talk in August. Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
That's great.
But I think it's at the same date as the European Championships.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a bit tricky.
But nevertheless, you're a week or more than 10 days there. We'll manage to hook up sometime.
Figure something out.
All right.
That's great.
Take care.
Okay, we'll see you guys later.
Bye bye.
Till next
Bye,
time.
Max.